Okay, I'm working on HEPO, and because that vacuum supply line to, which I believe is going to the climate control, I don't think that the heater hose has been replaced in this thing in 29 years. I had to cut the heater lines. I could not get those to come off. But to remove your whole evaporator heater core box off the firewall inside, there's a nut back there you gotta get off. You gotta take a nut off here. You gotta take a nut off here. You gotta take a nut off here. This is why I did not mount the computer yet over there in Burn Victim, because I knew I wanted to do the whole heater box. I'm not gonna swap them per truck necessarily, but so that's what you gotta get off out under here, and you're gonna have to do everything to remove the computer if you need to change. Not necessarily change a heater core, but if you wanted to pull this whole damn under dash box unit out once you get the dashboard out, because here's the dashboard I now leaned up against the passenger seat headrest. So the last thing I just found holding me up was the snap-in to these clips right here. There is a snap-in. Man, if I could just hold the dang light and the phone too for once. So you have to lift these clips off, pull that under, because this is for floor air, and it kicks it out both sides. So there's one that comes out between this vacuum box, the silver one, and this bracket. Now, obviously there's bolts down to this black bracket. I'm gonna have to take that black bracket out because it's lifting out, but I'm kind of hung up right here from getting the whole thing out. There's one brass screw, that little silver one right there that holds in that ducting mounted, you know, up under here, right there. You got to undo, and it was a fighting match to get that out. So before you even start loosening it from the dash, best to not loosen it from the dash like I have and pulled it back and dropped it. Is while this is all still quite a ways up in the air, unclip these clips, undo that brass screw over there, take out this black bracket. They look like 13 millimeters, just ducking down, looking through the carpeting there. I'm going to use my ratchet wrench to pop that off. This whole thing should come out now. I believe there is no more plugging to anything electronic but this main one right here that I all got out. So you can see this is where the air intake is up under here under the valance. Now my 93, my green one, my limited, I've never had a really good heater in that thing. And here's another big change I've seen in 93 to 95. I don't have it to show you the example because it got melted down on Burn Victim here. But the intake of this valance, for all air to go through here, through these, this thing had a melted down grate. Now it was shot on this one. But you can see there's holes here. It was just push pinned in. There was pins that hold it in, and it's an extra black screen plastic grate that goes over this. Because if anything gets down underneath your regular top valance that's directly below your wipers, leaves and weeds and all that shit, it'll go in here without this internal grate, and it'll get sucked into your intake, which is that right there, into your climate control system. And I had to take that melted piece off on this 95, but looking at this 93 Laredo, I'm sure, like my 93 Limited, there's not even pinholes here. So they did not even put that interior second grate in here. And I think that's a key thing to have, because now that I've pulled this thing back from the dash just a bit, look down in there at the blower. There's leaves and shit in here. And I had so much buildup in my green one, I didn't have a heater for damn. It took me forever to try and clean that thing out, and I still don't have a very good heater. I think part of my heater core is blocked, but it wasn't blowing for shit. So that's another thing I've noticed about 93s, very first year of Grand Cherokees. I think the absolute best year for Grand Cherokees, and I believe the very first series ZJs are the best. I've got a WJ out in the driveway. I love it. My wife loves it, but I don't love it. It's a 2000. You know, ZJs ended in 98. They ran from 93 to 98. And then 99 picked up the WJs. And I think they are the last of the good Grand Cherokees, last of the best. Still straight axles, solid axles, easy to lift. But there is, even in that one, for 99 and 2000, so much more technology and shit than this one. And being a retired engineer from semiconductor industry, I worked with high technology. I don't ever have agreed with too much technology in a car. It doesn't last. It's put through too much. Weather changes, temperature changes, and moistures and stuff, and it doesn't last. And I also have my own opinion on self-driving electric cars are a complete bad idea. That's my opinion. Anyway, so that's another thing to take note of on 93s. If you're looking for a ZJ, I believe 95 is the best year to get, because 96 they went to OBD2. And this is why I'm kind of stuck with 93 to 95s that I favor the most. They're simpler. You only have a little black plug out here under the hood. That black plug right there, under that cover, that is all you've got for plug-in for scan for OBD1. That's why I like OBD1. I've got so much crap laying around. This extra 8-inch fan I had in a box for other project stuff I'm always doing. So yeah, this is a V8. I did valve covered gasket. I did a lot on this. I had to pull a tranny. It was so nasty inside. The chick that owned it, oh my god, and their kids, there was literally mold growing on the carpet and gross shit. So I replaced the carpet, put nice new black carpet in it, nice lambskin seat covers. Interior is really in great shape. One thing I do too with all my ZJs, since they don't have fading dash lights or dome lights, I like non-fading. I mean, they make LEDs now that will fade. But when I first replaced all my interior dome lights with LEDs, these are all LEDs. And I love LEDs. You can get them so much brighter. This thing really lights up in the dark. My green one outside, I just put the same bulbs in. Now see, this is a Laredo. This is a Laredo. So you're saying, how the hell do you have a simulated wood grain limited dash? Well, I changed it. I found a limited in the junkyard. I like the accents of the wood grain. It's more pleasing to look at and more comforting to sit inside there and drive than just the gray and black. To me, is boring. So I do a lot of shit because I love these ZJs. I just love them. Anyway, I also got a pair of 16-inch wheels for this one. It's dirty because I was driving the snow and crap before I swapped out with my green one. I'm back to driving the green 93. Anyway, yeah, this is my first 6 cylinders. I'm looking forward to getting it going. But those are some more differences. Okay, when I was talking earlier about I showed the bolts you got to take out under the hood for removing the dashboard, but I guess I should add in what you got to do on the interior. So there's a straight shot on the driver's side of one. You can see right back there an extension. All these are 10mm bolts. So there's an extension, go straight back to that one. That's on the driver's side. There is a bolt under the steering column. And it's unfortunate, you got to pull everything off as far as all the skins and the gauge set. Makes it easier because you got to get, I mean, I guess you could leave the gauge set, but if you're moving around, you're going to risk, you know, scratching up your plastic. This plastic is going to have to be repolished again. It's got a few scratches on it, but it wasn't me. This is the way I bought it. I'm going to make burn victim nice. So all this is going to get retouched, and I'm finding dead spiders everywhere in the vents, and this Jeep's been definitely got sat under trees and stuff too much. So it's a straight shot on the driver's side bolt you got to get to. There's one dead center under here on the dash. You know, it's best to pull your climate control out, your basic generic VIC or the pocket or whatever you might have here, the advanced VIC for a limited or you know, optioned up Jeep. Now the one on the passenger side, it goes this way. So you do have to get up under here. You got to get up under here. Get this thing box out of the way. But yeah, you're going to have to get up under this because it goes that way into the skin instead of it being a straight shot. And then, of course, the top 10mm. You take all those off. The ducting has got to be pulled off underneath. Like I said, I just pulled off the black bracket. It's sitting right there. Since I learned all how to do this on Hippo, I risk less on the Jeep that I care about. So yeah, you get this center bolt out right here. And now, I still gotta get up under here and find that brass screw that is gonna undo this ducting right up under here. Somewhere There's that brass screw up under there. Right there. And then you should be able to pull this ducting to the side, lift it a little bit, and then pull this ducting out, which goes into the floor because it feeds to rear ducts that come down through the carpeting here to give blowing heat on the rear seat's foot area. But this duct will come out once you start lifting this. So I've got this loose enough now to start lifting it. And I'm going to get that duct out of there. As I lift it, I got to get that brass screw out, and then I'm pretty much done. This dashboard, once I start pulling it away, I'll unplug the main electric plug that's behind here. And then that frees the entire rest of it to lift completely up, pivot it up over the steering column. I got the steering wheel sitting on the seat because I undid the bolts. These are 10mm too. You can just drop the steering wheel and steering column down on the driver's seat. And then when I get that stuff out, you just lift higher on the passenger side and pivot it around. And I'll do like I did in Heepo over there and lay the dash up on the headrest of the passenger seat. And the dash will be out. And then I can get to the heater box and everything. So that's where I'm at on this. A little bit more information. I should have added in the interior mounting bolts for the dashboard on these.